The idea to wake up at 5 a.m. came from a dissatisfaction with where I was at in life. At the time, I was studying to become a doctor, and for a number of reasons that I get into in another video, I felt very unfulfilled with where I was at. I felt the need to reset my habits, except I didn't want to do things all willy-nilly. So I did a little bit of digging, and this is what I found. Habits follow a very simple three-step loop. First, you have some sort of a factor, whether it be the place that you're in, the mood that you're feeling, or the people that you're around. This is your cue. The cue triggers some sort of an action, whether that be playing video games, watching porn, going to eat something, whatever. That action in turn provides you with some sort of reward, which teaches you to do the action every time that you see the cue. I wanted to change my cues in such a way that it would reset all of my habits. Now, I don't have the means to move to a new house or to a new city, so instead, I thought about the one biggest factor that I could change. This cue controls where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm surrounded by. This cue is the time of day. It's the idea to wake up at 5 a.m. This was a time of day that I had no cues and no unproductive habits. So I'm excited. I set my alarm, I go to bed, ready to wake up the next morning to be a very productive human being and to completely change my life. Except I run into a problem. Think about what happens when you look at an overcomplicated menu. If you're anything like me, you probably go into some sort of decision paralysis, trying to figure out the optimal option before the waiter gets to your table. Waking up at 5 a.m. had the exact same effect. I woke up and there were too many options. With so many options, I find myself going back to my comfort picks, the defaults, the bad habits that I'm trying so hard to escape. To remedy this issue, that night, before I went to bed, I came up with a plan of everything that I wanted to do. Over the course of the next few weeks, things started to look up. I started to lift more, to read for longer, to feel like I was actually progressing a little bit. So this was the antidote, right? This is what waking up at 5 a.m. achieved. I was finally feeling this feeling of progress. End of the story, happy ending, everything is fine. Well, not quite. A couple months in, I started to slip. The world started opening up and I started going out with friends and spending time away from home. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the time that I spent with the people that I care about. But the more time that I spent away from my routine, the shittier and guiltier that I felt. I realized it inadvertently. I had started to hinge my entire identity on this single factor. Waking up at 5 a.m. and becoming a productive person. And I felt unable to engage in activities that interrupted with this 5 a.m. magic. And so for all of the progress that I had achieved by trying to wake up early and to spend my time well, I realized that this wasn't the way forward after all. I realized that productivity can enhance a good life, to make it a great one, but waking up at 5 a.m. is not going to make an unhappy life suddenly feel fulfilling. That, I think, takes a bit more reflection and a more fundamental change. If you want to hear more about the change that I made, check out this video right over here.